Welcome to the TOEFL Listening section. In this section, you will listen to an academic lecture and then answer questions about what you heard. You may take notes while you listen. You will have time to review your notes before answering the questions. Listen to part of a lecture in a university class. You will hear the lecture only once, so listen carefully. After the lecture, you will answer some questions about what you heard. Some questions ask about the main ideas and supporting details. Other questions ask you to make inferences or connections between ideas. Answer each question based on what is stated or implied in the lecture.
Good morning. Today we will examine animal migration patterns and focus on seasonal movement behaviors and navigation methods used by different species. Migration is a widespread life history strategy that allows animals to exploit seasonal resources and favorable breeding or overwintering conditions. We will look at the mechanics of movement, the sensory cues and internal mechanisms animals use to orient and navigate, and some case studies that illustrate variation across taxa. First, consider the types of migration. Long-distance latitudinal migrations move animals between breeding and non-breeding grounds, as in Arctic terns that travel from the Arctic to the Antarctic. Altitudinal migration involves seasonal movement up and down mountains. Many bird species and some mammals move upslope in summer and downslope in winter to track temperature and food. Partial migration occurs when only a portion of the population migrates. For example, in some populations of blackbirds, younger or lower-ranking individuals migrate while others remain resident. Now let us turn to navigation. Animals rely on multiple cues. Visual landmarks and the sun compass are important for many species. Geomagnetic orientation is well documented in birds and sea turtles. Hatchling sea turtles appear to use an innate magnetic map to orient toward the open sea. Olfactory cues are critical for salmon. Adult salmon use olfactory imprinting to return to the river where they hatched, detecting chemical signatures in the water. Some species combine learned and innate mechanisms. Monarch butterflies exhibit a multi-generational migration where no single individual completes the round trip, yet the population retains directional information. Energetics and stopover ecology are central. Migrating animals must balance fuel deposition and the cost of movement. For many shorebirds and passerines, stopover sites provide critical refueling resources. I emphasize stopover sites because they are critical refueling points for migrating birds. Loss or degradation of these sites can reduce survival and breeding success, even if breeding and wintering habitats remain intact. Case studies illustrate these concepts. Arctic terns achieve the longest known migrations, traveling almost pole to pole. Their navigation likely uses a combination of sun compass and magnetic cues. Wildebeest migrations in the Serengeti show how resource tracking drives movement. Annual rains determine grass growth, and herds follow the green wave across the plains. Monarch butterflies in North America demonstrate how migration can be an emergent population property. Overwintering sites in central Mexico are culturally and ecologically important for the entire eastern population. Salmon homing provides a clear example of natal philopatry. Chemical cues learned in the juvenile stage guide adults back to their natal stream to spawn. How do researchers study migration? Modern tools include satellite telemetry and GPS tags, which provide high-resolution tracks for large animals and some birds. Light-level geolocators are useful for small birds, though they provide coarser location estimates. Stable isotope analysis and genetic markers offer indirect approaches to infer origin and connectivity when direct tracking is impossible. Integrating movement data with habitat and climate models allow scientists to predict shifts in migration timing and routes under climate change. From a conservation perspective, protecting migratory species requires safeguarding networks of sites across life stages. This includes breeding and wintering areas, but also corridors and stopover habitats. Management strategies can include international cooperation for migratory birds, seasonal protections for key corridors, and restoration of degraded stopover sites. In summary, migration patterns reflect adaptive responses to seasonal variation. Navigation uses a suite of sensory and cognitive mechanisms. Energetics and habitat availability shape routes and timing. Understanding these processes through case studies and modern tracking methods is essential for effective conservation of migratory species. That concludes our lecture. Next time, we will analyze a data set from tracked shorebirds to practice interpreting movement paths.
Listen again to part of a lecture, then answer the question.
I emphasize stopover sites because they are critical refueling points for migrating birds.
This concludes the listening section. For more TOEFL practice tests and study materials, visit Spinta.org.